Getting a letter from the IRS that you owe back taxes can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. Call Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040 today. We'll help stop garnishments, levies, and seizures immediately. With over 35 years of dealing directly with the IRS, our team of local professionals will help you pay the least amount possible. So if you owe back taxes to the IRS, you need help. Call the tax professionals at Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040. Your go-to tax relief.
Looking to get some keys made, locks rekeyed, or a wide variety of new and used safe? Then look no further than the trusted choice of Alfred Safe and Lock. Conveniently located off of Government Street in Mid-City, Baton Rouge. Trust the expert locksmith at Alfred for all of your residential, commercial, and industrial lock and safe needs. Trusted by Baton Rouge and me, Roger Cador, to protect what is yours since 1946.
Some Baton Rouge business travelers travel out of Baton Rouge. Some don't. The ones that do know BTR is all about being closer, more convenient, with non-stops and short hops to anywhere their business takes them. They also know not flying BTR means more traffic, longer lines, and wasted time. So if it's about going from driveway to runway with a lot less highway, isn't it about time you flew BTR? Baton Rouge Metro Airport. It's about time.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Clarence Buggs along with the coach at Scoreboards, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Baton Rouge's newest sports grill. Coach, Tigers roll into Ole Miss Saturday night and come away with a record-setting win.
Yeah, they're scoring a whole lot of points, Claire, even though they're giving up a whole lot.
Yeah.
But they're scoring more. And at the end of the game, you know, all what matters? If you got more points than your opponent.
As long as you get the W, that's all that matters. We have highlights from that record-setting encounter, so we will ask the guys in the truck if they'll be so kind as to roll it as we continue our conversation. Joe Burrow, this guy just continues to amaze, Coach. At this point in the season, he is so familiar with his receivers. It's like they're in each other's heads at this point.
Well, you know, they're really on a good roll. He's got good chemistry with those receivers. And the offensive linemen, let's give them some credit.
Oh, yeah.
They're doing their job also in order to give him the time, and he's making really nice adjustments in the pocket.
Running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire picked up right where he left off against Alabama.
The little guy has really done a good job. Look at that block right there. See, that's the key. Something that maybe the ordinary fan would never recognize.
Right.
The coaching staff does.
Uh-huh.
And that's where it all comes into play. Look at that adjustment here. What a beautiful adjustment by Chase. And he made that really good play. And because of the chemistry between the wide receivers and the quarterback, they're able to do all of this. And Clarence, you know why they're able to do it? They practice it, Clarence.
Oh, yeah.
You can't do this stuff unless you practice it.
That's right. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire, his stock has gone up tremendously. When you look at all the things that he's capable of doing as a receiver, as a running back, as a blocking back, the guy's the complete package, Coach.
He really is, and that's what makes a good team. When you can run the ball effectively, when you can throw the ball effectively, when you can block. And now, defensively, you have to be able to make big stops. Now, look at this catch. This was not an easy catch. A big-time catch in traffic with a man that's, you know, the area to catch the ball was very small, but he made the adjustment.
This marriage of Joe Brady coming over from the Saints and Joe Burrow running the offense, this is an absolute perfect matchup between these two, Coach.
Well, you know, when you could dance like this wide receiver, Clarence, oh, I could do it too. Look at me. Y'all can't see me, but I'm dancing. Oh, this is wonderful. I tell you, this is a great time to be playing ball in Louisiana, and particularly in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Oh, yeah. Now, what is all of this going to do for recruiting, Coach?
It ought to be a bonanza, but you never know. Recruiting is extremely competitive, and young people all want to play before they get out of their mother's womb.
Yeah.
Let's be realistic. Yeah. You got to watch them because that's the way it is. Look at this breakaway here, and the speed, and the good blocking downfield.
And using that blocking.
Using it. This is what This is Chase and these guys are really doing a good job. They're doing so many good things. Coach always got to be extremely proud of his players.
Of course, now, Ole Miss refused to go away, and their quarterback, John Plumlee, torched our defense for 212 yards. We knew that young man was good, but that good?
Well, LSU does have some injuries, and the kid did do a good job.
Oh, yeah.
And they forced him to be one-dimensional. He was back to pass, and then he took off running.
Arkansas up next in Baton Rouge, 2-8, 0-6 in conference games. You might be tempted to call this a trap game, but on the other side of that coin, you win and you lock up a spot in the conference championship. So you got to think conventional wisdom says, yeah, winless in conference is one thing, but you want to kill this gnat with a sledgehammer and secure your spot in the conference championship.
Go Suey! Woo! I can't do it like the real home, but you got to be careful. As a coach, you always want to caution your young people to go out and play their game. It's all about improving on the things you didn't do well in the last game you played.
That's right.
That's just the message the coaches try to preach to the kids. Improve on the things you didn't do well.
Of course, now Arkansas is going to come in with an interim coach, Chad Morris, fired after compiling a 4-18 record over 2 years. That's not going to cut it in the SEC, is it?
Well, cut it nowhere, maybe. You know what? But schools like Arkansas, that's a small state with not a whole lot of athletes. They're almost in a no-win situation. They're below what Vanderbilt is. And Vanderbilt is an academic school.
Right.
But Arkansas really have gone really south.
Oh, yeah.
Because they used to be pretty good. They border Louisiana and Texas and Oklahoma, which means they should be able to get some decent players.
You would think, but if they don't want to get them, hey, I'm sure Coach O will be glad to take them. When we come back, we'll change gears from purple and gold to blue and gold on this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Stay close.
Break out of the chaos.
Hi folks, Clarence Buggs here. Coach Roger Cador would take the time to tell you how to catch our brand new show, The Roger Cador Show, but as you can see, he's kind of busy right now out at Scoreboards, Baton Rouge's newest sports grill with food that is absolutely amazing. Catch the show 8 o'clock Tuesday nights, 6:30 p.m. on Wednesdays and on Pelican Television's YouTube channel as well. You want to come out and have a great time. It's awesome, isn't it, Coach? Told you.
Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunner's 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg. We just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
Welcome back for segment 2 of this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Coach, let's talk a little Jaguar football. Jags did what good teams do. They made adjustments at the half, came out and dominated the second half and took control.
Well, and they almost had to do it, Clarence, because really their season was on the line.
Oh, yeah.
So, the big win in Jackson literally set up the big game against Grambling.
That's right.
And that's when you want to make sure each game have meaningfulness, and this one does have a lot of meaning. The hated rival Grambling in the Bayou Classic, truly the biggest game of the year. Oh, big O, this is what it's all about.
This is it, sure enough. Well, we have highlights from the Jaguars and the hated Blue Bengals of Jackson State, so we'll roll that. Ladarius Skelton, coach, had another dominant performance in leading the Jags.
Well, you know, that's what you need. You needed your quarterback to step up, and he really did. And against Jackson State in Jackson, this is as good as it gets, Claire. They had 40,000 people sitting in the stand, the biggest crowd of the year.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is what they had to do. And Coach Odom have done a really good job. I don't know if the people at Southern and in Baton Rouge really understand what the job this man have done. You know, sometimes they take things for granted and you not understand. But big Coach O, I'm here for you. I know what you've done under the circumstances in which you have done it under.
A lot of teams having been under the sanctions from the NC2A that Southern had to deal with for as many years as they had to deal with, you could conceivably look at a decade before you could recover from all of that.
He's only in his second year having scholarship players. I mean, this is what's so incredible that people don't understand what he's done. You know what I'm saying? So I know how tough it was. We went through it, and you can't win with walk-on.
Right.
It's tough.
Right.
He's done a really good job. So kudos to you, Coach Odom.
Jackson State never went away in this game, but you kind of expect that when it's Southern and Jackson State, right?
Yeah, they're not going to go away. I mean, they were playing for something too. This game meant a lot to them. They want to beat Southern after Southern humiliated them last year.
Right.
You know, so they wanted to come home and say, let's protect our turf. But Southern didn't allow that to play. Look at this run right here. Look at the bench. Look at the official. He's going. There you go. I want to sign that official up.
So why this huge rivalry with Jackson State? I mean, it seems like even if we're only playing tiddlywinks, we still want to beat them and they want to beat us. Where did that huge rivalry come from, Coach?
Well, it really goes back a few years when Jackson was dominating the conference in football. And Southern finally broke through. And that won the rivalry because, quite frankly, Clarence, the band, in my opinion, really started the classic rivalry because they had a great band.
Oh, yeah.
And when the band got good and the band hooked up, it made the football game even better.
Yeah. At 4-7 overall, 3-3 in conference, that's not what Jackson State fans are comfortable with, is it?
Well, it's better than what they've done the last couple of years. But they have been one of the true, really good teams in football in the league.
Up next, a bye week, and then the Bayou Classic. As you mentioned, everything in the West on the line. That's the way it should be, isn't it?
It always should be. The schedule makers could never make it any better. And this is what makes football so interested in November, especially toward the end of November, when you're beginning to play for conference championships.
When we come back, we'll shift gears from blue and gold to black and gold on segment 3 of the Roger Cador Show. Stay close.
Looking to get some keys made, locks rekeyed, or a wide variety of new and used safe? Then look no further than the trusted choice of Alfred Safe and Lock, conveniently located off of Government Street in Mid-City, Baton Rouge. Trust the expert locksmith at Alfred for all of your residential, commercial, and industrial lock and safe needs. Trusted by Baton Rouge and me, Roger Cador, to protect what is yours since 1946.
Break out of the chaos.
Getting a letter from the IRS that you owe back taxes can be scary, but it doesn't have to be.
Call Go Tax Resolution in Mandeville at 985-722-1040 today.
We'll help stop garnishments, levies, and seizures immediately. With over 35 years of dealing directly with the IRS, our team of local professionals will help you pay the least amount possible. So if you owe back taxes to the IRS, you need help.
Call the tax professionals at Go Tax Resolution in Mandeville at 985-722-1040. Your go-to tax relief.
Welcome back for segment 3 of this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Coach, you were out last week, so before we talk about the Tampa Bay game, got to get your take on the Saints' performance against the Falcons.
Well, most teams usually have where they lay one game during the year. Mm-hmm. One thing we want people to realize that all teams in the NFL are professional teams.
Right.
They're professional. Mm-hmm. And all teams got pretty good players.
Right.
They may have a bad record,
right,
but the Falcons put it together against the Saints, and they put it together against Carolina last week. So they may remember they had a lot of injuries, and they may be putting this together, and the Saints just might have been the team that they started against.
Could that have been the best thing possible at this point in the season to give them a wake-up call that on every Sunday, yeah, you're 7-1, yeah, they're 1-7, but if you don't bring it, they'll hand you your you-know-what on a platter?
That's what I'm saying. So you got to keep in mind they're all professional teams, and they all have good players. So the Saints know that they can't take anyone lightly. Things just went south. They didn't play. They played a bad game. They came off a bye week and played bad.
Yeah, but then again, they turned right around against Tampa Bay, and Drew Brees looked like the Drew Brees of old. Defense looked like the defense of old. Completely different team.
Goes to show you, 1 week makes a difference in this league.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have highlights from the trip to Tampa, so we'll ask the guys in the truck if they'll be so kind as to roll the highlights. The defense coach played lights out. 4 interceptions, 2 sacks, 12 quarterback hits.
Well, the Tampa Bay uniforms are ugly, I can tell you that. Wow. Somebody could have done a little better job, but you know what? It is what it is. And, Kamara was back running a lot better, and Murray played a good job, did a good job. And then, Brew was able to throw to Gins and Thomas. They did a really good job receiving-wise for the Saints. So you got to be happy with what they did. So it is what it is. It'll get better as we go down the road. They got to get Lattimore back on the defensive side of the ball. That helps when he gets back in there full speed. So I think the Saints will be okay.
Jameis Winston continues to be plagued by inconsistency. That's been the knock on him his whole career, hasn't it?
Yes, it has been. And you know what? It just goes to show you how difficult to find that people at that quarterback position who are consistent.
Yeah.
No matter if it's college or in the pros. I read the reports and then see how they talk about quarterbacks who are inconsistent. Over half of them are inconsistent. That's why they have losing records.
And when you look at a team like Tampa being in our division, coming off that Falcons loss, you really need something to get you right back in the thick of things, and nothing helps in that regard like beating somebody in your division.
Yeah, well, pretty much as you go down the road, most of the teams are going to be in your division right now toward the end of the season. I know they have a day with San Francisco, and they probably have another game with the Rams. So they've got those 2 games that are going to be good tests for them.
The Saints are playing right now, at least as far as the Tampa Bay game is concerned, offense, defense, special teams. You got to have all 3 aspects of the game clicking this point of the season if you hope to make a championship run.
You need it. And you know what the Saints are also trying to play for that home field advantage.
Yes.
That's why that loss to the Falcons was hurtful.
Yeah.
Now they got to do some damage themselves to get back on the plus side.
Yeah. Up next, Carolina. Are the Panthers in the process of putting Cam Newton out to pasture?
Well, it appears that way. You really never know. And the quarterback was doing a pretty good job until the last 2 games. So you really never know, Clarence. Cam Newton probably did himself a lot of harm with that interview he did with the cigar and the glass of wine.
Right.
You really don't want to do that.
No,
and it
no.
does. It's not good for the image of that franchise.
No.
See, franchise, you got to understand, they're a family. It's a family entertainment business also.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's community worthy. You want to make sure that it's being seen as a positive thing in the community. So sometimes these guys do things I can't figure it out.
Yeah. I just wonder, Cam Newton's personality being what it is, can you see him as a backup on somebody's team?
Well, the thing about Cam Newton, let's face it, the kind of game that he plays is that it's a short-lived career.
Right.
He's a punishing, running type of guy, and he's gotten beaten up pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
So, is he going to go sit in somebody's pocket and throw? No.
No.
So, what is his value? And he's probably not very valuable as a backup either. So it's one of those things somebody's got to make a decision. Either we're going to bring in him as a starter or the Panthers are going to give him one more chance.
Yep. When we come back, we will wrap up this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Stay close.
Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunner's 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg. We just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
Some Baton Rouge business travelers travel out of Baton Rouge. Some don't. The ones that do know BTR is all about being closer, more convenient, with non-stops and short hops to anywhere their business takes them. They also know not flying BTR means more traffic, longer lines, and wasted time. So if it's about going from driveway to runway with a lot less highway, isn't it about time you flew BTR? Baton Rouge Metro Airport. It's about time.
Hi folks, Clarence Buggs here. Coach Roger Cador would take the time to tell you how to catch our brand new show, The Roger Cador Show, but as you can see, he's kind of busy right now out at Scoreboards, Baton Rouge's newest sports grill with food that is absolutely amazing. Catch the show 8 o'clock Tuesday nights, 6:30 p.m. on Wednesdays and on Pelican Television's YouTube channel as well. You want to come out and have a great time. It's awesome, isn't it, Coach? Mm-hmm. Told you. Welcome back for the final segment of this week's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Coach, the entire college football world, whether you love Alabama or hate Alabama, everybody's heart went out to Tua. In the Heisman hunt, probably a half a notch below Joe Burrow, but you hate to see any kid, particularly at this point of the season, go out the way he went out.
Yeah, you don't never want to see kids get hurt, but that's the nature of the game.
Oh, yeah.
And you never know when it's coming. And that sometimes play the fortune of a team. Do that star player stay hurt or stay healthy or get hurt?
Right.
Unless you've been fortunate. Because Burrow has stayed healthy.
Right.
And because of that, they've been able to execute very well.
A lot of people blame Nick Saban for playing Tua at that point, understanding that he had the ankle injury, but this was a hip, something totally unrelated to that. It just kind of seems like the old adage, that's football.
It is football. And obviously, if Nick Saban knew he was going to get hurt, if he had that genie in his head,
Right.
he would have pulled him out before then.
Yeah.
Listen, you're always one hit away from being hurt in this game, you know?
Yeah. Myles Garrett, NFL, Cleveland Brown, former, speaking of the SEC, former Texas A&M and a #1 overall draft pick, snatches the helmet off a player and then proceeds to hit him in the head with the helmet. Suspended indefinitely. You're the commissioner. How long is indefinite?
Well, he's for sure the remainder of the season and probably if they make the playoff. So when you look at the punishment, I think you punish him enough, and all of this is without pay. So he's taking a pretty good hit.
Right.
Well, and now the key is, when enough is enough.
Right.
That's what as commissioner has to be made. Well, it's probably enough based upon there is probably no written law that says if you hit someone with a helmet.
Right.
There is nothing written.
Right.
It's just about a violent act. You know, so I really don't know, Clarence. I just think that the message is not well sent.
No.
By pulling that kind of stuff.
And it's not a good look on the league's behalf.
The league has got an image problem. This really makes it a little more difficult.
Yeah.
With people looking at the image of the league.
Got to take a second and say a very special and a heartfelt thank you to Kate Adams last week, filling in, did an awesome job as always, Coach.
Kate is so sweet, and she's a risk taker.
Yeah.
She did she did it at the end, I presume. I wasn't able
Oh, yeah,
to
she
see.
did it. She did it.
So
Yeah.
I love Kate because whenever I'm not able to be here with you, and I love being with you for 16 years,
Yeah.
she's stepping in.
So high school football playoffs kicking into high gear. I was disappointed looking in the stands last week at a couple of games around. Those young men and the ladies really deserve all the support we can give them this time of year, don't
Oh, they really do. And you know, they need more support now than any time in the history because of all of the problems our kids have to face.
Yeah.
So they want to make sure the parents are there to support them.
And of course, I understand, as sacrilegious as it may sound, that everybody is not a football fan, but basketball season is now tipping off as well.
And it's indoors.
Yeah.
Always a man.
Yeah.
But so we want to be there for our kids and make sure we're supporting them.
As we make this transition into basketball, do you ever think back and wonder what it may have been like had Roger Cador decided, with those hands and that height, if he would have decided to pursue more basketball?
I did the right thing. it was, listen, I love basketball, and it was a payment. It was the payment that got me to college. I went there on a basketball scholarship.
Right.
So all of the good things happened because of that basketball scholarship.
Well, I concur 1,000%. You did the right thing, my friend. You did the right thing. Again, a very special thank you to Kate Adams for filling in last week, second time this season. And next week, we'll have a very special edition that all of us here are looking forward to. On behalf of the coach and the crew, I'm Clarence Buggs. We'll see you next week with another exciting edition of the Roger Cador Show. We'll see you then.